It's that time, baby. We are
Come on.
looking at follower league trades. These are real trades going down in our Dynasty supporter follower leagues.
Hmm.
Shout out to the India League. Our leagues
Come on,
are
baby.
done by the NATO alphabet, so it's not random. That's the name of
How
the
we follow
league,
it.
India League. Shout out to Pedro and JC. They got a deal done, and you can now see the deal on your screen. Pedro gets a Mon-Ra St. Brown, a 2023 second, and a 2023 third.
Hmm.
While JC gets Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert, and Garrett Wilson. So, Badaki, we will not look at context just yet. Soon we will dive into each team
Hmm.
and kind of see which side we really like. But just without context, where do you lean in this deal?
Yeah, this one's really tough because I'm a believer in both of these guys. Amon Ra coming out of college this past year, not the year before technically, and then Garrett Wilson as well now
Yeah.
coming in with the Jets. Without context, I am still going team two, which is JC's team, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at it somewhere else. Yeah,
Yeah.
JC's team, Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert, Garrett Wilson. I really like Garrett Wilson. I had him as my wide receiver one coming out of this class. Jalen Tolbert, a guy that we actually really like, who could have fantasy value this year specifically. And I've been saying this a lot. I think you can potentially flip him mid-season because I do believe the Cowboys are going to be investing in a wide receiver. Jerry Jones likes to splash. I
Right.
do believe they're going to be investing in a 23 wide receiver. So maybe he can go back and get a 23 mid-second back or something like that, whatever the case may be. If Jalen
Right.
Tolbert is taken off, or for Michael Gallup as well. I think no matter what, he could at least get a second for Michael Gallup and Jalen Tolbert.
Okay.
I think I'm just going with Garrett
Right.
Wilson and the talent. According to the community, he's a wide receiver 20 for Garrett Wilson and Amon Ra. If we really look at it, it's Garrett Wilson and Amon Ra. So it's really kind of like a lateral move in the community's eyes. Wide receiver 20 with Garrett Wilson, Amon Ra. Wide receiver 25. Give me Garrett Wilson
Okay.
and the
Yeah.
boys.
This hasn't been necessarily a secret. I don't have any stock of Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I preferred Chris Olave in film evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
And when the landing spots came out, that kind of like sealed it for me as to why I don't have much Garrett Wilson. I don't really love the landing spot. I feel like we're going to see an emerging Elijah Moore. I like Zach Wilson, but I don't know. And at the same time, like Jared Goff isn't incredible. But all that being said is I feel like I'm more in tune with Amon-Ra's current community rank around
For
wide
sure.
receiver 25
Mm-hmm.
than I am Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 20.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that this might be really low for a lot of people out there, but I have Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 26 in Dynasty right now. So
Right.
that seems to be about 6 places behind the community over there on Keep Trade Cut. And again, it's not that I don't like Garrett Wilson, because I do think he can be a really good wide receiver too. Like for his career, I'm thinking like a Robert Woods type career in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Amon-Ra can do like the same thing, but I just prefer Amon-Ra a little bit more. And also, when I look at these two wide receiver cores that are young and ascending, I feel like Amon-Ra fits better into that
In that
like
offense.
plan.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
With-
Like I understand how
I get what you're
Amon-Ra
saying.
and Jamison Williams are going to be used. I don't fully understand what the plan is for Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore together just yet. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm kind of struggling over in New York. I love Brees Hall. I like the offensive line. I like Zach Wilson. Love Elijah Moore. But I'm still trying to figure out, like, I need to see it. And maybe it's going to be one of those scenarios where, I didn't see it and I was wrong. And that definitely could be the case. But,
Right.
the combination of me not being in love with Garrett Wilson, as well as, me liking Amon-Ra, I think that's what kind of puts me over the top here. And by the way, with Amon-Ra and Wilson being really close for me, I don't think Tolbert's worth a 23 second.
Right. I hear you.
In 2022, he was around the end of a 2022 of a second round pick, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Now 2023, I mean, we did a video this week. We're about to record it now, where we compared the 2022 and 2021 class.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is like the 2022 class does not stack up very well
Not at all.
versus 2023 and 2021. So
Not at all.
again, my point being the 2023 class, a second round pick in 2023 to me is almost equivalent to like a late first in 2022. Like that's how I see it. So
I hear you.
I said a lot, but basically I'm taking the Pedro side.
All that
I said a whole lot, but I thought it was important to like fully explain.
No, for sure.
And again,
And I think that's the hardest part. Like, cause I'm with you. You know, I'm a big believer in Garrett Wilson. I was a massive believer in Amon-Ra coming out. We weren't in love with the landing spot. He had that second half emergence, but a lot of people think it's hindered by Swift, TJ Hawkinson being out. Now they add JMO.
Right.
You know, Garrett Wilson, what the hell is going to happen there? This Michael Gallup, Jalen Tolbert kind of feels like who's going to be the wide receiver 2? Is Michael Gallup going to be ready? I know this is Dynasty, but I guess if we're really thinking 1 year specifically, that's why I'm thinking Jalen Tolbert. If Michael Gallup is not ready for this year, when I say not ready, maybe missing 6 games, 7 games, Jalen Tolbert has a good window to be a good wide receiver 2. Maybe you can get a second back. Maybe it was at the end. Maybe it was at the end that you got Jalen Tolbert, and now you can come and maybe move up in that second round in 2023. Yeah. And like we keep saying, like Zach said it, you can get first round talent in the 23, in the second round, in the early half of the second round in the 23 class at the moment. So let's see if that stays, that sticks as well.
And, the last thing I'll say is I heard a lot of comparisons of Garrett Wilson to Stephon Diggs, like in draft season. To me, again, like it's so early to say that it won't happen, but I can't envision that. Again, I see him more as like a wide receiver 2, but at the same time, I don't see Brown or Wilson being like true alpha number 1 top 12 guys in Dynasty.
Right.
And just to clarify, I have them very close in my rankings. Amon-Ra is my 29 in Dynasty. Garrett Wilson's my 26. Obviously, I'm leaning towards the draft capital and the talent a little bit more, but yeah, I'll take Pedro's side without context. You'll take JC's. Now it's important that we do include context.
That's right.
So why don't we go ahead and look at both of these teams? We're going to look at both of them, and we're going to compare them side by side and then see if that context changes anything. So Hurts to watch on the left-hand side here is Pedro's team. JMO shots on the right-hand side is JC's. And that makes me wonder if he had Jameson Williams. We're going to have to look at this. Why don't we look at his team first?
Yeah.
JC. So Marcus Mariota, Raheem Mostert, Evans. I got a feeling this is there's going to be some draft capital on this team.
100%. That's what it sounds like.
Bateman, Tolbert, Fant, Garrett Wilson, Sky Moore, Duvernay, Jordan Love, Malik, Calvin. I like that.
Yeah.
Dotson. I can't see Jameson, but is he on it? Maybe his can you check and see if he's on his
I'm gonna check on my phone
taxi?
really fast to see if he's on the taxi. I have it on my computer, but I don't see technically the taxi.
Yeah, it doesn't include the taxi here. But just while you're doing that, we'll look at Pedro's team. Looks like a team that is very much ready to win right now. We got Jalen Hurts, Jonathan Taylor, Devin Singletary, Adams, Gabe Davis, Kelsey, Kareem, Hunter Renfrow, Ryan Tannehill, Carson Wentz. I think we have looked at this team once before in the past. Yeah. And then we got Amon-Ra on the bench with some other pieces here.
Yeah. Yeah. So JMO is on JC's team on the injury reserve with Michael on the PUP list with JMO and Michael Gallup. He also has John Mechie on his taxi as well. There.
Why don't we? Okay. So that makes sense. He had Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown. He didn't want, to put that much stock in that wide receiver room. So he went ahead and moved Amon-Ra to get Garrett Wilson here, and he's not competing at all. So now, I mean, it kind of makes sense that like you don't really want to rely on Garrett Wilson just yet. You want some time for this wide receiver room to really figure itself out to see if Zach Wilson can prove himself. And if we look at the draft capital, I'm assuming that JC, which he's here, that he has a lot of capital, and he does. He's got 323 firsts. 323 seconds.
Yep.
2/3, a fourth, and then in 2024, he has
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 first round picks in 2024, as well as 1, 2, 3, 4 second round picks in 2024.
This is the long.
Doesn't have anyone's fifth round or 2025 first round pick yet, but
not yet.
Okay, so in the first 2 rounds of the next 2 rookie drafts, let me try and do this math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 picks.
Sheesh.
He has 16
in the next 2 years.
let me do some quick maths here. So 12 times 2. So is that true? Does he have 16 of 24 picks?
That's what it looks
No,
like.
no. That would need another. Okay, so he has 16 of 48 picks.
9.
Does that sound right?
I guess the way I'm looking at it, he has 9
Yes,
picks
16 of 48
2
picks
years.
in the first 2 rounds next year. I made that way more complicated than it needed to be.
Probably.
Wow.
I mean, hey, and I think this is clear. 2 different directions for both of these teams. One is a futuristic team. One feels like he wants to win now. Obviously with Pedro getting Amon-Ra St. Brown and, moving on from Garrett Wilson and saying, you know what, I need a guy that I know is going to be producing now and is not going to be a project.
I think we even talked about that when we covered his team last time. So it makes sense why he would go out and try and do this and get Amon-Ra now, because I think what we discussed was his the Renfro and Kareem Hunt flex spot. We thought maybe you could upgrade there, and it looks like he potentially has for this year.
And he has Renfro and Devontae Adams here. So
yes,
now
I remember talking about that.
Now he could put Amon-Ra where Renfro's at, and he's still he's still probably going to try to make a move somehow. Maybe he'll move Renfro for a lower guy. Maybe he can get a rookie or something. I don't know, whatever the case may be. He still has Damian Harris on his bench. He has Hunter Henry on his bench.
Got Damian. I mean, Damian, you're right. Like, you could flex Damian. You could potentially flex Rondale if he finds a role. You could flex potentially JD and Kareem. So, it makes sense to me, because I do feel like if we're talking redraft, I have Amon-Ra way higher in my redraft rankings than I do Garrett Wilson this year.
I'm with you.
So this is a trade when I look at both sides that I kind of really do understand. And in some way for Pedro, he's also either adding draft capital to go make moves or to replenish his team next year with at least some youth. If we look at his draft capital, so next year he has 3 second-round picks, as well as 3 third-rounders. So he's not necessarily got his firsts, but if you look at his team, it makes sense. I mean, you got JT, Hurts, you've got Adams, Kelsey. So, I mean, I think when I look at this really kind of makes sense for both sides. I
100%. It feels good.
Feel like I understand it.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really great. I think both teams, 2 different directions. One looks like kind of a win now. One is definitely a massive futuristic team. And 100% makes sense getting Garrett Wilson and doing that trade for Amon-Ra. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit what, JC wants to do right now. He might believe in Amon-Ra, but Garrett Wilson, if he's okay to stay there with the project, let's say Zach Wilson's not the guy, Zach Wilson maybe in his third year, when he has some picks in 2 years from now, like he's still developing with Garrett Wilson and the team.
Or like in 2 years when JC wants to compete, if Zach Wilson's not the guy, then they have a free agent or someone else who comes in who can create relevant guys. So, no, I think this makes a lot of sense. And,
it's pretty even now.
And what side? I feel like it's pretty even. I don't think I can pick a winner. Like, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I want to choose someone, but it truly makes sense for both sides now.
I think it's definitely even on both sides. Like, if I had to give a grade, like B+, like A flat, A flat. Like, I think it's really good. It makes sense for both sides. Once again, I think the only downfall here potentially is like JC. What was he thinking with Michael Gallup? Potentially, if we really had a nitpick, is he going to be trying to sell Michael Gallup somehow later on?
I imagine so.
Because Michael Gallup, he did get this 5-year contract extension, team friendly deal with the boys. Once again, like I said, I do believe there's going to be a massive splash by Jerry. So if he can
in the offseason.
Yeah,
I imagine JC's probably going to hold on to Gallup and try and sell him at the right time. And, I've had Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra on my same teams because I'm in love with Jameson Williams. That's been well documented. Yeah. And I have traded away Amon-Ra before as well. It was for I think it was I didn't include players on my side. I think it was a first.
Right.
But anyway, I get why JC would want to not have that much stock in the Lions wide receiver core.
Yeah, agreed.
Man, last year we were looking at that wide receiver core and thinking who the hell is there? And now you're damn. How many guys can catch the ball here? You got Swift, TJ, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams,
Bulk it up,
DJ Chark. So
Jared Goff's the
anyway.
answer. Jokes.
I feel like this is a win-win. This truly is.
100%.
I think what it's going to come down to is the people who are watching where their biases are. Excuse me.
Correct.
So comment down below. Let us know which side you have, and we're gonna keep doing these trades. Hope you guys love them.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe
Right now.
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.